Hashem Yahshua B'Hashem Rakakwadash Shalom to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect out there. Shalom to you all. Anyway, I'm going to entitle this video, Why Do We Teach That the Gentiles in the New Testament Are Actually Israelites? This is History Saturdays. History Saturdays. So we're going to go into the Gentiles. But before I go into that, I was going through this here. This is an article. Now, Bishop Nate said I had to be back in 2014, 2015, 2016. We were going back and forth concerning the MOTB, the micro C hip, Revelation 13, verse 16. And he was calling himself clowning us. He's going to wind up being the clown at the end of this thing when this prophecy comes to pass fully. The prophecy has come to pass, but not fully. You got numbers of thousands, I would say. 100. If 100,000 got the chip around the world, that's a lot. That's going to change in the future, whether it be six months from now, a year from now. But we're right here. All the prophecies have to be fulfilled before the destruction, the deliverance, and the kingdom comes. And a major prophecy that's going to come to pass is the microchips. If the microchip doesn't come, you know that the Most High is not going to save us. The microchip, MOTB, has to come to pass before the deliverance, the destruction, and the kingdom. So those are the last, you can say that those are the last four major prophecies. Because the kingdom is a prophecy. The prophets speak about a future kingdom. That's a prophecy. So when we are in the kingdom and established, that's a fulfillment of what the prophet said. The destruction, that's all throughout the books of the prophets. They all have visions. Some of them had visions that looked like one thing, like Isaiah had visions of the destruction. Jeremiah, Daniel, Isaiah, and so forth. They all had visions, and you have these scholars that say, oh, this represents that, and what Isaiah said represents something. No, it represents the same thing, the same event, the destruction. The prophets also saw the deliverance of the elect. So we got the missiles on its way, the destruction, the lake of fire. Now I heard, who did I hear this from? That Deacon Hakar, or priest Hakar, whoever his title is, he said that the lake of fire is not Babylon the Great. So I want to see, anybody find out there's a video on it, let me know. I just want to see it. I was watching a little bit of, last night I was watching a little bit of this guy, Moses Levy, which you know him by Ron Dalton. And he was going into Ezekiel 36, and he even mentioned Bishop Nate. He asked Bishop Nate, they had a little impromptu debate. He said, are the Edomites Shemites? And Nate said no 2 times. And he spoke about that. And maybe Bishop Nate didn't hear the question right. You should have asked it maybe a 3rd time. You would have stayed stuck on that and said, wait a minute, you're telling me that the Edomites, because he's thinking that he's thinking that so-called Europeans stem from Japhet. That's old school Hebrew Israelism. So he should have asked it again. Maybe, like I said, maybe Nate really didn't realize that what he was saying, because Edomites are Hebrews. The sons of Japhet are from Japhet, from the line of Japhet. So anyway, before I go into it, I wanted to go into this article right here, right? Now, if you can't see, after all the evidence that we showed on different videos, displayed on different videos about the MOT, we made it crystal clear. We left no stone unturned. We covered everything as far as the receipts are concerned, to back up what we say about the micro C hip. Now, if you can't see it, well, your leaders, if they can't see it, and when it actually come to pass, and he says, "Nah, go ahead and take it. There's no thing, there's no big deal. Go ahead and take it. Don't listen to GMS." Then we know they sold out. We know they sold out because we made it crystal clear. We gave you all the receipts through the years since we got on YouTube about the MOTB, and we haven't changed. We hadn't added anything to it. We haven't taken away anything to it. Now, in the video, we're going back and forth with IUIC. The video that Bishop Nate did, he had made a statement. He made a little joke, clowning on us. He says, he said the RFID is how do you say it? It's to find locations. Where's my dog? It has nothing to do with making payments. And then I immediately made a video debunking what he said, that RFID, you can make payments with an RFID tag or system. So he said, he said that a sister came up to him and said, "My dog has a RFID chip." And then he said, "Well, maybe he can go buy some lamb for you." So he obviously he made it as a joke. So here it is, and I proved it back, what is it, 10 years ago or whatever, however far you want to go back. It was put up in 15. It was 10 years ago. So this is an article from the BBC, April 10, 2022. It says the microchip implants that let you pay with your hand. Now the thing that the reason why you can pay with your hand is because there's a RFID chip in there that a reader, this is the reader, the RFID chip is in the hand. Now if you notice, this is her right hand. In Europe, they'll normally do the left hand, and they refer to it as an NFC, near field communication. Over here it's called RFID. It is a tracking system, but you can make payments with it as well. That's why Revelation 13 and 16, buy or sell unless you have the mark, which is the RFID or NFC system, which is in your chip, right hand or forehead, left hand or forehead. It says a woman paying for her meal in a cafe using a contactless payment chip implanted in her hand. You know what I'm gonna do? Let me take a picture of this. Okay. Save image. Bear with me for a minute. Okay, so this is from Walletmore. Let me do this. Let me put in. You know what I got to do? Let me do it a different way. I'm sorry. Let me X this out. Let me do it this way. Get my bearings straight. And I wouldn't be surprised if this technology is really introduced to Americans and around the world inside of 6 months. 6 months to a year. Because they're moving fast. They got this guy, Trump. He's moving super fast. As I said in previous videos, he's the cruel Lord in Isaiah 19. He's the Or he's gonna destroy it. There's gonna be a lot more homeless people, a lot more people dying. He cut Medicaid. And they do that now in churches. I know in New York and around the country, if you're old, you back and forth in the hospital, what they'll do, they'll have security lead you out the back and just put you out there hoping that you drop dead and the city bury you somewhere. That's why it's important to have family, if you do have family. Let me see. Put in Mark of the Beast. 2. So we got it. So you can obviously see that she's using the right hand. So I would think that this is in America, not Europe. Let's read the story. Patrick Paulman causes a stir whenever he pays for something in a shop or restaurant. This is because the 37-year-old doesn't need to use bank card or his mobile phone to pay. Instead, he simply places his left hand near the contactless card reader and the payment goes through. So they're taking the chip that's in your credit card and they're implanting it inside of you. The reaction I get from cashiers are priceless, says Mr. Paulman, a security guard from the Netherlands. So he most likely has it in his left hand. And that would be called an NFC, near field communication. He is able to pay using his hand because back in 2019 he had a contactless payment microchip, which within that technology is a RFID or NFC technology, which is a tracking device, but also you can make payments with it. Injected under his skin, the procedure hurts as much as when someone pinches your skin, says Mr. Paulman. So I just wanted to get into that. And this is from a page. I got to. Okay, wait a minute. There's another one. I'll show you the page. This is from Rational Wiki microchip implant. So, okay, let me see. The Mark of the Beast. Okay, is the Mark of the Beast an implantable microchip? Revelation 13:16. The children of this world are wiser than their generation than the children of light. This is another one. Church of the Great God. Is the Mark of the Beast an implanted microchip? Revelation 13:16-18. I don't want to read this whole article. But you can see it. I'm not going to read this whole thing. But you got certain churches that say, yes, it's the microchip. And I believe the first people that's going to protest these implants, mass implants in this country and around the world, are going to be these Bible Belt people. These people in the Bible Belt, Middle America, Midwest, the farmlands and so forth, the Amish, and the Southerners, among so-called Edomites, because some of them are Jake, they look like Esau, and they're gonna be the first ones that's gonna protest. Then it's gonna eventually go to the Supreme Court, and as Biden said in 2005 at a Supreme Court confirmation hearing for Justice Robert, he said, "You will rule before you're 10 years over whether a person could be microchipped," and not so many words. So they knew. So they know. The elite knew back in 2005. But like I said, I'm not going to read this. What I'll do is, well, you got it right here. What I'll do is, I may, if I remember, I'll put this. I'll put this in the description box or on the video somewhere in the comment section. So let me bring this back. This is the main page. This is the main page right here. There's a lot of good articles. Okay, will the mark of the beast be? Let me look at this one. Will the mark of the beast be? Will the mark of the beast be? Will the mark of the beast from Revelation 13 be a microchip implant or national vaccine? You inject vaccines in you, or a national ID card. Well, no, that's not the mark. If you have to get a national ID card, you're not taking the chip. Or a sham of Bill Gates, or a scheme of Bill Gates, excuse me. So there you go. So if you go to rationalwiki.org/wiki/microchip, what is that, underscore, whatever that's called, implant. I'll give you a bunch of articles down here in the bibliography. Here's the page you go to. I don't know if give me a second. So it keeps coming up. It keeps coming up. Okay, so now let's go into the main subject right here. Let's deal with the word Gentiles and why we argue with the Christians. Well, I don't argue with them. I call the cops on them. Gentiles. Let's go to Gentiles. What am I doing? Gentiles. Well, the Gentiles are other nations. Yeah, in some precepts or some scriptures, they are. Right, the Isle of the Gentiles, those are Japhet, sons of Japhet. Okay, let me see here. All right, like Isaiah 49:22, thus saith Yahweh the Most High, behold, I will lift up my hand to the Gentiles and set up my standard to the people. Those Gentiles are Israelites. And they shall bring thy sons. I'm sorry, I'm wrong. Those are talking about the actual Gentiles. And thy daughters shall be carried upon their shoulders. Isaiah 49:6. And he said, it is a light thing that thou shouldest be my servant, which are the prophets, to raise up the tribes of Jacob. A prophet goes to the tribes of Jacob. Remember, High Priest Yeshaya said he didn't mention my name, but he was obviously talking about me and somebody else. I'm supposed to be a Levite. The other brother's supposed to be Benjamin, and Yeshaya is supposed to be a Judite. And he said, you got to get. You said you leave Judah alone. Get on your own tribe. I kind of what? This guy's emotional. He said, get on. When the prophets came, if a prophet was a Levite, he didn't just curse out Levites. If a prophet was Gad, he didn't just curse out Gad. It says the tribes. Ezekiel did not just go to Judah or Benjamin or one tribe. He dealt with all the tribes. So you can be of the tribe of Levi and curse out the tribe of Judah. So he got emotional. And he fell out. He no longer teaches this truth. And if the Most High don't have mercy on him, he going to take that chip and he going to die over here. But let's see what's going to happen. Pray the Most High have mercy on him because he's an Israelite. and to restore the preserved of Israel, right? I will also give thee for a light to the Gentiles, that thou mayest be my salvation unto the end of the earth. The end of the earth is also this. I got to start bringing this in there as a backup precept to Acts 1, the uttermost side of the earth, or the end of the earth. The end of the earth. Let me do this. End of the earth. Sometimes the word Gentiles could be talking about other nations. Sometimes the word Gentiles are talking about Israelites. Let's see how many times this phrase come up. Okay, comes up a bunch of times. Deuteronomy 28, for Yahweh shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth. That ultimately that's talking about America. It's not talking about Rome, because Rome was just north. Rome was north of Israel. So the end of the earth is America. We're talking about America. As swift as the eagle flieth. Now the Romans' symbol was an eagle, but America's symbol is also the eagle. A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. That's English. English. He maketh wars to cease unto the end of the earth. He breaketh the bow and cutteth the spear in sunder. He burneth the chariots in the fire. That's prophecy dealing with the destruction. That's a good prophecy to have. Psalm 61 verse 2, from the end of the earth will I cry unto thee when my heart is overwhelmed. Lead me to the rock that is higher than I. From the end of the earth. Let me open this up. So this psalmist, let's see who the psalmist is. Okay, this is King David. David was a king and a prophet. This is beautiful. Psalm 61 verse 2, from the end of the earth will I cry unto thee. What is the end of the earth? It's over here in America. So when somebody asks you about Deuteronomy 28 and 36, who's the king? The king is King David. He's the number one king. Which he was Moses in another life. Moses came back. You can if somebody says you and I kings shall go into captivity, what does that mean? You can say either Moses or David. Then they might say, well, how can it be? Those are two different people, and Moses was not a king. No, Moses was the first king. He was not coronated, but he was the first king of Israel. So I know what it is. I want y'all to tell me what scripture is that. Well, Christian might say, well, no, the first king was Saul, the second king was David, King David. Yes, but so you're telling me there was no Israelites that were referred to as kings? Nope. Saul and David, and then the rest of the kings. And then there's David's sons. Then the kingdom was split, if they know that much. Moses was the first king. He was just not coronated. They didn't put no crown on his head. But he was a king. He was called a king. It says, from the end of the earth will I cry. So when King David and Moses is on the end of the earth, that's the king, you and your king, he was crying he woke up in Babylon the Great, knowing that he was an Israelite and crying to the Lord to save him. When my heart is overwhelmed, lead me to the rock, which is Yahushua, that is higher than I. So David was considered in his kingdom, he's going to be king number one forever on a physical level. Who's higher than him? Yahushua. Who is higher than Yahushua? Yahweh. Let's see what Isaiah 5 and 26 says. And he will lift up an ensign to the nations from far and will hiss unto them from the end. Ooh, you ain't got no business being in Nairobi, Kenya. The end of the earth is talking about over here, Babylon the Great. And behold, they shall come with speed swiftly. When this thing comes, it's going to come quick. Isaiah 42:10. Sing unto Yahweh a new song, and we're singing that new song. New things that I declare unto you, right? And his praise from the end of the earth. His praise from the, where are we praising the Most High? We're not in the land of Israel praising Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. We're praising him over here in Babylon the Great. The great deliverance is coming out of Babylon the Great. The focus is here on the Babylon the Great. Not jet setting to some other country where they're going to throw rocks and tear gas canisters out at you. Most High giving you a hint. You don't belong here, Negro. Get your black ass back to America. Ye that go down to the sea, and all that is therein, the isles and the inhabitants thereof. It says the end of the earth. Isaiah 49:20. Go ye forth of Babylon, flee ye from the Chaldeans. So who's the modern day Chaldeans? The modern day Chaldeans is this place. With a voice of singing, declare ye, tell this, utter it even to the wait. So we know that this Babylon and Isaiah, I got to add these scriptures to my list, although I have some of them in the list. There again, the end of the earth is talking about Babylon the Great. Did not David cry from the end of the earth? That's a fulfillment of Deuteronomy 28:36. It says, utter it even to the end of the earth. Say ye, Yahweh hath redeemed his servant Jacob. Where are we going to be redeemed? The great redemption or the great deliverance is coming out of what? Babylon the Great. They ain't coming out of Kenya, what is it? Nairobi, Kenya. It's not coming out of the land of Canaan like this guy, what's his name? Ron Dalton. I was watching something. He's just lost. But you know what? I'm not mad at him. He doesn't know. You know, he fully persuading his own mind, but he doesn't know what's going on. That's why he says that we're going off of teaching about UFOs being chariots of the angels flying in, and they do. Isaiah 49:6, and he said, "It's a light thing that thou shouldest be my servant to raise up the tribes of Jacob and to restore the preserved of Israel. I will also give thee for a light to the Gentiles, that thou mayest be my salvation unto the end of the earth." Right here, the light to the Gentiles are talking about Israelites that didn't know that they were Israelites. And we all pretty much became Gentiles, right? Okay, Daniel 4. Let's see what this says. Daniel 4:22. It is thou, O King, that art grown and become strong, for thy greatness is grown and reaches unto heaven, and thy dominion to the end of the earth. The lordship is going to come. The Most High, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, is going to take lordship over Babylon the Great. Immediately I thought of Daniel 7:9 on down, or 18. Really starting from 9. We're going to take the kingdom. Daniel saw the vision of the Heavenly Father, and he saw the angels come before him, and he saw one like the Son of Man come before him. That's Yahweh Shai. Then he sees the vision of the Israelites taking this kingdom down in the 18th verse. And that's a beautiful chapter. That's one of my favorite chapters. Somebody got to do that. If not, I'll do it. That's a beautiful chapter. Once you go through it, you memorize it. So it's a simple chapter to memorize if it has been broken down to you. So this is beautiful, man. These precepts right here. That's why in Acts 1 and 6 on down, it says you're going to preach in 4 places: Jerusalem, Yahweh, Samaria, and to the uttermost part of the earth, which is America. Not Nairobi. I get that tongue twister. Nairobi, Kenya, or Nigeria. Ain't nothing panning out over there. We got to go all over. No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't have enough men. If the Most High gave you 10 million men, then you can do that. You brag that you got 10,000. Ain't no way you gonna hit. My estimate of Israelites on the planet has to be if there's 9 billion people, I would say 4 billion of them are Israelites. That's a lot of people. It's humanly impossible for you to hit every 4 billion plus people on the planet Earth that you might believe are Israelites. Okay? So I started with this word Gentile. Let me come back over here. And I got to take these. You know what? Let me do this. Bear with me for a minute, y'all. Bear with me for a minute, y'all. Note. Bear with me for a minute. Okay, let me open this up. Okay. Let me do this. From the end of the earth. That's the title. Copy. And I'm going to file, print, bear with me, y'all. I just want to make sure this goes through. If it doesn't go through, I'll make a print later, but it should come up. All right, here it comes. Okay, now let's deal with the word. Let's go back to the word Gentile. Like here, Isaiah 60, verse 3, and the Gentiles shall come to thy light, and kings to the brightness of thy rising. forces of the Gentiles. He's talking about the other nations. Isaiah 61 verse 6, but ye shall be named the priests of Yahweh, all the tribes. Men shall call you the ministers of the Most High, because we're going to teach you the laws. And the laws will be applied in the kingdom. Paul said a shadow of things to come. The laws are a shadow of things, because none of us is teaching the laws. We're doing it to the best of our ability. We're rehearsing the righteous acts. And that word there in the Hebrew, I forget the Hebrew word, is to recount. In other words, we think upon them laws to the best of our ability. We're not keeping the laws perfectly. Ye shall eat the riches of the Gentiles. Those are the other nations. So sometimes you come across the word Gentile that's talking about Israelites. Sometimes other times it's talking about the other nations, especially in the Old Testament. New Testament, when it speaks about salvation for the Gentiles, those are Israelites that don't necessarily know that they're Israelites. And in their glory shall ye what? Shall ye boast yourselves. Now when you open this up, and by the way, this is what Yahweh Shai on the Sabbath. This is what you're doing. You don't know what to do on the Sabbath. In the kingdom, we're going to read the Torah. We're going to talk about the law. This is what Yahweh Shai read. And he said that this has been fulfilled. Let me start from the first verse. The key point is in the 5th verse. The Spirit of Yahweh is upon me, because Yahweh hath anointed me. This is Yahweh Shai talking about his Father. Two different entities. He said the Spirit is on me from the Father. And he hath anointed me. He hath chosen me to preach good tidings unto the meek. We know this is the fulfillment of Yahweh Shai. Luke chapter 4, he reads it and he said, I'm the guy. He hath sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives. Who are we captives under? The Romans. And the opening of the prison. The prison is the Roman rulership. To them that are bound. We are bound by the Romans. We had to pay tribute. And not just us, all the nations round about. To proclaim the acceptable year of Yahweh and the day of vengeance of our power, to comfort all that mourn. They thought they were going to get that comfort back then. Even when Yahweh Shai died and rose, they said, oh, we thought he was a Messiah and we got to look for another. And he cursed him out. That's in Luke 24. And what they don't understand is that there were two Roman empires. The Roman Empire that died and a Roman Empire that came back to life, which wasn't called a Roman Empire. It was called NATO, EU, and Babylon, Canada. NATO nations and the EU nations, NATO, which includes Canada and America, as members of the NATO forces. To appoint unto them that mourn in Zion, because we were mourning being under the authority of the Roman Empire, to give unto them beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness, depression, that they might be called trees of righteousness. We're going to be called trees of righteousness in the kingdom. The planting of Yahweh, that he might be glorified. And they shall build the old waste. They shall rise up the former desolations. The thing that's going to be, the whole world's going to quake. So the whole world's going to pretty much be in a mess. So everything's going to have to be rebuilt back up. and they shall repair the waste cities. The desolations of many generations. So this is the kingdom. So part of the kingdom is the kingdom gonna have to. The architecture is gonna have to be like you go to the city, Manhattan. You see those buildings. Those buildings are not gonna be there. Of course, America's not gonna be there. But if you go to Europe, the Europe style architecture, that's all gonna be not. Everything's gonna have to be built according to the laws of the Most High. And strangers shall stand and feed your flocks. Strangers of the other nations. This is talking about slavery. And the sons of the alien, other nations, shall be your plowmen and your vine dressers. Remember, it said the plowman shall overtake the reaper in Amos 9. We are the plowmen. We are the workers shall overtake the reaper. The reaper are the ones that benefit the rich. But ye shall be named the priests of Yahweh. Men shall call you the ministers, the other nation shall call you the ministers of the Most High. Ye shall eat the riches of the Gentiles. Whatever they have, we're going to take, because they're going to be slaves under us. And in their glory, whatever they have in riches, shall ye boast yourself. We're going to wear whatever they got that's of value, we're going to put it on. And we're going to brag about it. For your shame, we're shamed right now. Ye shall have double, and for your confusion, they shall rejoice in their portion. Therefore, in their land, they shall possess the double everlasting joy. Everlasting joy. Wait a minute. Everlasting joy? I thought God is going to get us after 1,000 years. Everlasting means everlasting. Saints of Most High shall take the kingdom and so possess the kingdom for how long? Forever, even forever and forever. That's 3 forevers. Just listen to the song that Andre 3000 put together. Forever, forever, ever, forever, ever. That means world without end. Isaiah, what is that? Isaiah 45, if I'm not mistaken. Everlasting joy shall be unto them. That's talking about the kingdom. And the kingdom is going to be played out on earth as it is in heaven. For I, Yahweh, love judgment. I hate robbery for burnt offerings, and I will direct their work in truth, and I will make an everlasting covenant with them. With who? With who? The Israelites. And that's the new covenant, and it's going to be everlasting. And their seed shall be known among the Gentiles, and their offspring, Israelites, among the people. All that see them shall acknowledge them. The Gentiles shall acknowledge them, that they are the seed which Yahweh hath. Which Yahweh shall bless. This is the seed. Only one seed is going to be blessed. Through thy seed shall all the families of earth be blessed. All the families that shall be blessed are the Israelites. Anyway, let me come back. So, the lion has come up out of it. Jeremiah 4 verse 7. The lion has come out of his thicket, and to destroy the Gentiles, the nations, is on his way. Starting with Esau, he is gone forth from his place to make thy land desolate, and thy city shall be laid waste without an inhabitant. That's talking about Babylon the Great. That, you know what I'm gonna do? Let me do this. Let's see what the Bible Hub has to say about this. This is talking about Babylon the Great, because it said everything gonna be wasted. Let me do this again. All you dudes that you be watching our videos, but all you former members of the One West School that came into Israel and the byways and went back in the world, you're going to do two things are going to happen to you. You're going to get that microchip, and then you're going to be destroyed. If you make it that far, pray that you just drop dead before the chip. Okay, so let me see what this is. Cambridge Bible for Schools and Colleges. See intro. Okay, thy land. We should perhaps read the land and consider the rest of verses as an insertion suggested by the parallels in Jeremiah. Just give me a lot of BS. Just tell me what it means. That the day as though implying, give me a lot of crap. Let me do this. Okay, pulpit commentary. The lion, the symbol of irresistible might and royalty. Okay, Genesis 49:7. Revelation 5:5, talking about Yahushai. Let me do this. 49:7. I'm going to go to the King James Bible. King James. Cursed be their anger, for it was fierce, and their royalty was cruel, scattered among Israel. Then I give me the right scripture. Okay, the lion, the symbol of might. I mentioned Revelation 5:5. Revelation 5:5, I already know what it says. Revelation 5:5. And one of the elders saith unto me, weep not, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David. Meaning what? He came out of the loins of David. Joseph's line goes back to David. Joseph did have sex with Mary. So what about if a Christian roll up on you? I'll call the cops on them. I don't deal with Christians. Christians don't exist to me. I eat Christians for breakfast. Have prevailed to open the book and to loose the 7 seals thereof. Okay. Okay, of the Gentiles rather. So they're saying that it's the Messiah, the lion that come up out of his thicket. Let's read more. Rather of the nations, there is no reference to the distinction between Jews and Gentiles. The Jews themselves are not allowed to escape. An ordinary lion attacks individual men. We know it's not talking about an ordinary lion. This lion destroys. Oh, you did good, pulpit. This lion destroys nations. I am become death, the destroyer of worlds. So this lion, the missiles are compared. The scriptures speak about their mouths like unto lions. Revelation 9. Revelation 9. The lion or the lions should be the lions have come out of their thicket, the silos, and the destroyer of the nations are on their way. Particularly 2 nations, Babylon the Great and Palestine. This lion destroys nations. Beautiful. Good job, pulpit. I'm going to have to start reading the pulpit now. Is on his way, which represents the power of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai and the angels and the missiles. He coming. He ain't coming by himself. I shall not meet thee as a man. Literally has broken up his encampment. Babylon the Great is nothing but a large 5,000 square mile encampment. A phrase perhaps suggested by the nomad of that's Russia. By the nomad. They're mentioning Russia because the Russians are going to shoot the missiles. That's the destruction force. The destruction force that's going to destroy Babylon completely. The one with the most missiles are the Russians. So let me look this word up. I already know what's up. This is another way of saying, let's see if I'm correct. This is another way of saying The nomads of Scythias. Let me go here. Okay. Okay, let me see. Okay, the Scythians, which I knew was written different. Scythias. The Scythians were, by the way, the nomads of the Scythias are Israelites. They were Israelites that went from the area of Palestine and the lower part of Asia Minor, Greece, and so forth. How do we know that the Scythians, which are the founders of Russia, how do we know that they were the original founders of Russia? Were the Scythians? That's in history. That's in secular history. How do we know that the Scythians, the original Scythians, were Israelites? Because Paul gave them he said you can have salvation. That's in the scriptures. It says we're a group of ancient Iranian nomads. No, they weren't. They were Israelites and dominated the Eurasian steppe, primarily the Pontic Caspian steppe, from approximately the 7th century BCE to the 3rd century BCE. So you had Israelites that became nomads. So Paul had to say, you guys are Israelites. I'm going to show you that in the precept. Their culture was characterized by its connection to the horse and its impact on military technology. These Russians they love war. They love war. But a lot of them that you think are Edomites are actually Jake. I used to box with them Russians. Them motherfuckers were cool as hell. They were cool as hell. A lot of them acted just like Jakes. It was shit talking Jakes. Art and social, structures, right? Let me go to the word Scythian. I should have put in Scythians. Let's go to the scriptures. I'll come back to this. Okay. And do this. Scythian. Either Scythian or Scythians. It will come up. Boom. Colossians 3 verse 11. This is Paul. Where there is neither Greek nor Jew, Israelites that didn't know that they were Israelites, and Israelites that knew that they were Israelites, circumcised or uncircumcised, barbarian, Scythian, bond nor free, but Yahushua is all and in you all. So guess what? Yahushua came for the Scythians, the barbarians, and the Greeks, which are all Israelites. So the original founders of so-called Russia, by the way, I said this before, Spirit opened my eyes to see it, that Russia actually is a Hebrew word, Ra'ashah, which means chief prince. And certain scholars do know that. They'll call it the Rush. Even, what's his name? Orson Welles, in the movie The Late Great Planet Earth, which came out, I believe, in 78, 79. In the movie, he said that the Russians are known as the ancient Rus, which is short for Russia, which is Hebrew for chief prince. So everything's coming together. Magog is also known as the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, which you got Turkey, you got Asia Minor, that region. So now, let me come on back. So the destroyer of the Gentiles is on his way, is talking about Yahushua coming to destroy this place. What Jeremiah saw is pretty much the same thing that that Daniel saw. And John said in Revelation 9 that they have their heads like lions. The lion have come out of its thicket. The lion represents Yahushua, but it also represents the missiles, the warhead of the missiles. They had mouths like lions. The thicket is the silos. So now let's move on. This is kind of, let me see here. Okay, Matthew 1:1. Okay, for from the rising of the sun even unto the going down of the same, my name shall be great among the Gentiles, and in every place, and incense shall be offered unto my name. And they, oh, that's Malachi. I thought it was in Matthew's. And a pure offering for my name. You got to know the name. If you don't know the name, if you call yourself a Hebrew Israelite and you don't know the name Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, the Most High ain't dealing with you, or you sold out. Give me a second. That's Bishop Sakaran. Give me a second. Anyway, I'm sorry. I got to cut this short. I got problems with my phone. Anyway, there should be a part 2 to this. Let's see what happens. Shalom.